Okay, so this is what it looks like after I'm done contouring the land to lessen the slope so that the water during storms doesn't wash out all my gravel. So I recontour it, and what I do is I make a flat platform where the tank is going to sit, stubbing my pipe up there, of course, ahead of time. I also have a cap over there on the right hand side where there's access to a valve to shut it off in case I ever have a problem with it. I can just shut that tank off and replace the valve or whatever I need to do. Sorry about the wind noise. But so I've contoured the land. You can see the dirt trail up there. That's where the main water line runs through to go from trough to trough. Of course, it continues over that direction. So I contour the land. I dig down 6 inches all the way along the perimeter, knowing where my trough is going to sit. And then I start putting the gravel around the edges, of course, and at the seam, the cloth, what they call cow carpet here in Arkansas. It's only 15 feet across, so I have a diameter here of 25. I did mine in circles. Most people want to do squares. I did mine in circles. It just looks a lot nicer, and I can make the contour flow the water off a lot better. So this is what it looks like. So after I lay the cow carpet down, I take a bucket full with the tractor of the gravel, and I put it all around the edges. I put it in the middle at the seams, and then as you put it along the edges, it'll stretch the cow carpet out. You can see the lines in it. Makes it pretty taut. Of course, I flatten everything when I dig it. I flatten it all out. I run the excavator over it with the little tracks, compacts it all down, makes it nice and flat. So this is what it looks like. So we've got a 6-inch depth all the way around. We have a 25-foot diameter circle. We now have water line stubbed up. We have an access to our valve to shut it off. And now we're going to start filling this in, making it 6 inches all the way across. And once I get that done, I'll show you that, but I'll also show you a video of how I get this thing to sit over there into place. So that'll be coming up. Okay, so now I went ahead and dumped a load of SB2 in here, and then took that and made a level area just big enough for the base of the trough. This gives me a lot more room around. I'm not, laying in a bunch of gravel or whatever. So you have a base here, and you can see the pipe down there is cut. Take yourself a level, set it down there, and you level this base off in every direction. Super easy to do. Then you measure from the bottom of that level down 1.5 inches, I believe, or 1 3/4. It's going to depend on what trough you use. And you cut the pipe off. That way my pipe right there is 1 3/4 inches below the top of my SB2. The reason I do that, over here we have the trough. I've already drilled the hole in the center of the trough. Now I use the Job Megaflow valve, 1 inch. There's a reason why I chose that one. Later on, I'm going to have a big storage tank, 3,000 gallon or so, sitting up on a hill, the highest point. It's going to tie into the water system, And if I ever lose power or the pump goes out or whatever, I'll be able to gravity feed all of my troughs from that high point. And this valve will flow really, really nice. So I've got a hole drilled here, and I've got my adapter already on it. And then what you do is you take your level, just like you did with the dirt, you place it across here. And then you measure from the bottom of the level to inside your fitting. And whatever that measurement is, from here to there, that's the distance you want to cut your pipe below your SB2. That way, when you set this tank, the pipe will go right in that. You get inside, you step on the center of the tank and push it down once you get it seated on there. And it'll push down, because there's some irregularities in this thing, but it'll push down. Just stay on it for a couple of seconds, and it'll be glued. Then your tank is now sitting on a level base, which means your trough is level, and it's going to work out just beautifully. Most of my troughs up here, the water level is about 2 inches down from the bottom of from the top of the rim, and even little baby calves can drink there. Now, in order to drill that hole, you gotta use a bit. I used this one. It's an 1 3/8" bit for that megaflow valve. That's a paddle bit. If you're going to use the paddle bit, you drill halfway through on one side, go to the other side, and drill the rest of the way. Otherwise, the hole is going to turn out horrible, and there's a possibility for a leak. The best saw to use would be a hole saw. That'll go right through it, super clean. I just didn't have one available, so I used a paddle bit. So that's what it looks like. That's the pile, that's the base. I leveled it off. I cut the pipe according to the measurement I got from this trough. That's the valve we use. Now I'm going to go set the tank, and I'll try to do a video of that. But what I do is I take the trough over to the base. I prop it up with a piece of pipe or something so it's up in the air. I glue both the pipe and the fitting, and then I lay on the ground, remove the brace that's holding it up, set it down on the pipe, go inside the tank, step on it, push it down, and you're good as gold. It'll be perfect. All right, we'll see that one next. Okay, so here the tank is set. Valve is in. Trough is in line with the fence. And if you look under here, I probably can't see it, but way back in there, you're able to look through this groove that I left. That's the reason I left it. 2 reasons. One, so you can look down here and make sure that it's seated properly, which it is. The other reason is once you turn the water on with your key, you'll be able to look down there and see if there's any leaks. But of course, hopefully you put Teflon tape and dope on the threaded fitting and tightened it up nice and snug, and you're not going to have a leak. I've set 15 of these. Haven't had a leak on these yet. The system works out pretty good. So now you can check level. You can set your level on the tank like that. You can see the bubble. Not bad. Check it this way. That one's not too bad. Fairly good. And we're good all the way around here. 1/8 of an inch, 1/4 of an inch isn't going to matter. But now you know, since you made the base nice and flat and level, 6 inches thick, you set the trough on there. The trough should be nice and level as well. You may have to adjust it a little bit. No problem. Just pick up one of the edges, throw some SB2 under it, and you can certainly adjust it. We use the 300-gallon Rubbermaid tank. And again, we've got 15 of them out here. You don't have to use them this big, but this allows, you know, multiple cows to drink from it at one time. Also, if you do end up having a water problem, a pump goes out, you lose power for whatever reason, they at least have 300 gallons to drink out of. It may not last them a day. Ours drink about 600 gallons a day or more. It's just a small herd in the summertime. All right, well, we're going to go get some more loads of SB2, and we're going to fill this whole entire thing in, and it'll be good to go. Once I get this all filled in, I'll turn the water on. We'll make sure everything's good. Here we have several trips to the rock pile and back. Takes quite a few to do this. I'm going to guess it's somewhere around 14 tons to fill up one of these circles, 6 inches thick. So you just pile your piles here, and there's some tricks to moving these so it doesn't break your back so badly. But we got lots of piles in here. Still going to need a couple more, but I'll move this stuff around and go get what I need. But what I wanted to show you is, here's the tank. I actually filled the tank while I was getting the SB2 in place. It's full of water. Got a float valve. It's shut off. Now, this water level is a little too high for me. I don't want to take the chance on this, so I'll lower the float down a bit. But what I want you to see is, look at the water level. Because you did all the work ahead of time to level the base of this, you can see the water level. So yeah, it's not perfect. It's about a ½ inch low over there, maybe 3/4 of an inch low over there. But from here across and over into this corner, and this corner is, the water level is high because this is where my little access hole was, and it just dropped down a little bit. But that's no big deal, because like I said, I'm going to adjust this water level. We'll be about 2 inches below that rim, because this is just a little bit too high. I wanted to show you, if you do it right, take some time, this is your end result, and it'll turn out just beautiful. You'll just love it, and so will the cows. So now I'm going to get to moving this stuff. All in all, it takes me about 2 hours to dig the circles out and contour them. It takes me about, maybe an hour to set the cow cloth and the SB2 around it to hold it in place. And then, of course, I'm going to guess about 20 minutes maybe to put the valve in the trough and set the trough. It takes me about 20 minutes. And so it's not too bad. Yeah, we're out here in the beautiful God's country. It's a beautiful day today, not too hot, not too cold. It's just gorgeous. So now we'll start moving this around, and I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, well, we judged this pretty close. Looks like I'm going to have one more bucket full to get these empty spots. About another hour and a half has gone by. We've got it pretty well where we want it. 6 inches thick, roughly. Some of the places are 8. And we got it all contoured. The slope over here is a little bit more than I really care to have, but it's not bad. At least there's somewhat of a flat spot up on the top. That's what I try to do, to allow the cows to have somewhat of a flat spot and then taper it down. But you can see the lay of the land here. We get a lot of water comes down off this hill. So now it will hit this, and because it's round, it's just going to go either side of it. The water will come down, hit it, and just come right down along the edge and go right on past it. Same with the other side over there. It'll do exactly the same thing. Something I wanted to show you here, my access to my valve, you can hardly see. All you see is the top of the cap. Well, this is not good, because if we leave it like this, cows are going to step on that. And if they step on that, it's going to push that access pipe down into the ground, into the pipe, and possibly break it, as heavy as these cows are. So there's a fine line. You got to raise this sucker up roughly about 8 inches. So I'm going to take that cap off. I'll put a coupling on it. I'll add a piece of pipe, put the cap back on. If you put it about 8 inches, they won't rub their heads on it. Because if you put it any taller than that, they're just going to come over here and start rubbing their heads on it, and then you'll have another issue. So for the most part, all in all, I'm happy with it. Turned out pretty good. This is my next to the last one. I've got one more to do, and then we'll be finished. And that'll be great. So if you are in the NRCS program, this is what they would accept. 25-foot diameter, or a 25 by 25 foot square, 6 inches thick. Put your cow carpet down. Put your SB2 or your ABC or whatever rock and gravel it is that they're requiring. Put yourself your trough. Put a float valve that they approve of. They do approve of the Job valves. Some of you may ask, what are you going to do if you have a problem with that valve? It's in the middle of the tank. How are you going to get it? Well, these valves are made so you can disconnect them down in the bottom of the tank. Just pull the valve out and replace it if you need to. As far as the pipe down on the bottom, as long as it's not leaking now, it's not ever going to leak. If you're worried about freezing issues, again, that's why we put 300-gallon tanks on here. Not just so more than one cow can drink, but it takes a while for it to freeze. We're out here every day moving them. Each one of our troughs does 4 pens for the cows. So this will serve us 4 days. So we're out here all the time, and in the freezing temperatures, we'll just knock the ice off the top, throw it off the side, let it refill, and it'll be fine. If you have electricity or you want to run a solar heater or something like that, that's an option as well. For the most part, this one's just about done. I'm just going to go get another bucket full, finish this up, and we'll call it good. Okay, so here it is. It's completely finished. You can see from way back here why I contoured it the way I did. I might still have a little bit of water coming down the hill and onto the pad, but not much, because it flares out both sides. And I'll show you that here in a little bit. But this is basically what it looks like. You can see it's sort of flat here on the left-hand side. And then on the right-hand side, it drops down fairly drastically, but not too bad. That'll let any water that does kind of accumulate up top to just run off. No problem. But as you walk around it, you can see the contour. And know that the rain is going to come down from where I'm standing now towards that. It's going to hit that pad and it's going to flare out, as I said, both sides, to the left and to the right, because the tank is actually higher than this ground. I have to excuse the helicopter in the background. But there it is. All done. Completely finished. Put my spool of wire back up, and they'll be here in about a week, I think, to this pen. Before, we were trucking water with totes, filling these up every day. I had 2 of them in each pen, and I'd have to fill up 600 gallons of water for them. Now we have one 300-gallon barrel, and that'll take care of them. But there it is again. See, it's all contoured. It's nice and level. Cows can get to it, no problem. Line will run right up the middle of it, just to one side of the float, so that it doesn't hinder with the float and start overflowing things. There it is, finished.